I finally updated my game to patch 5 and managed to update most of my mods. The ending dialogue with Gale during the picnic has changed as a result of patch 5, which I will show here.
I'm not going anywhere, Gale. I'll be by your side, whatever dawn brings.
Yes, but there is so much to live for and so few moments in which to house it all. Damn you. Damn you for giving me so much to care about. Our friends, our adventures. This would have been so much easier if it was just me, but it isn't. If there is a way, any way, to save all that's grown dear to me, I want to seize it. I just cannot fathom what that might be, other than to fail Mystra and condemn the world. Stay with me, will you? I don't want to think of it anymore, but I don't want to be alone either.
I have a confession. I was too hasty to judge you. I thought you witless, gutless, unimpressively bland.
Can I assume a compliment is incoming?
I don't pay compliments. I only say what is true. You've proven me wrong at every turn. You are efficient, dominant, courageous. I swear, you would tear the horns off one dragon for plunging into another. You've gained my respect, and more still, my yearning. When I come near, your odor alone is enough to make my neck sweat and my hairs stand on end.
If you respect me so much, then why are you such a prickly grouch?
If you must know, Vlaakith requires everything of her children. I can't count how many bruises I've inflicted. Can't measure how much blood I've drawn in the undying Queen's name. I know only blood red and death black. My mind is silver, and my body steel. I am what I must be, say what I must be, to survive every beast I face and every wound I bear. Bah, enough talk. I will be plain. I want to taste you. Perhaps tonight, perhaps later, but I want it all the same. Do you?
I'm flattered, but the answer is no.
Your loss, I fear. One day soon, you will wonder how my lips might have tasted, how my fingers on your skin might have felt, and you will wish you could return to this lost moment.
Welcome back. Tran wins Baldur's Gate 3. This episode will be mostly camp conversations, aside from the one visit to Raphael, who is guarding the next dungeon.
Should mind my step.
Let's poke our head in here and get our sharp blessings that we showed from an earlier episode, and I'll see you when we're done. We have emerged from the sanctuary. I've split the stat bonuses, because they're only temporary, with the character. Gale gets intelligence, Halsin gets wisdom, and Minthara gets charisma. I have reclassed Halsin and Minthara, slightly different. I'm going to be working on them, but right now Halsin, he is currently capable of doing 30 to 62. Which is kind of funny.
Yes.
I don't know if it will really play out that way, but we'll see. It's all theory crafting. And Minthara, she's essentially just another version of a paladin right now. Basically a cross between Lae'zel and Tran. You can see I gave her Lyre back. We run through the city from Moonrise Towers, and behind the hospital, or House of Healing, as it were, we'll find Raphael.
While vultures in circle, preparing their right.
I was trying to pan over to him since he was mumbling to himself.
Our hero thought but of treasure ahead, did not consider the peace of the dead. Through the dark he went creeping, and awoke what was sleeping. A new grave they dug, which he himself fed.
Ooh, spooky.
Cute. How long have you been standing around practicing that little recital?
Until it was perfect. I've grown quite fond of you, you know, in my way. I thought it only fair to warn you about the dangers ahead.
So you expect me to turn and walk away?
Don't be absurd. It would be pointless of me to try to bar you from entering. But I can set the scene, as it were. Prepare you for your role.
How do you even know there's danger ahead?
My dear friend, I think you'll find I play my part in many a plot indeed. Cannot the same be said for you these days, true soul?
I know my role even if you don't. It is to kill Catherine.
Ah, I had an inkling that was one of your main motivators. Delighted to see it confirmed. You're welcome to give it your best shot, of course. It's just that, well, the man has proven to be more or less resilient to death, which is not the only obstacle you're likely to face.
Fine. Paint me a picture.
There is a stage down in the dark upon which a great drama has suspended itself in time. Its actors dwell there still, mired in the languor of their long, tired scenes. If you, however, through the dark, go creeping and awake what is sleeping, chances are many more graves than yours alone will soon be fed.
Paint me a clearer picture than that.
Very well. There is a creature that lurks in silence and shadow. A creature who, like me, is very much of the infernal persuasion. Should it make its way out through the very doors you are about to brazenly swing open, you'll have unleashed a pestilence upon this realm. In truth, it is carnage incarnate. So if you meet the devil of which I speak, kill it. Consider no other course of action.
You're still only telling me half of what you really know. I can tell.
This creature and I go back a long way. I admit it would be in my best interest as well should it remain trapped in the dark. Or misplace its head, perhaps?
What are we talking here? Lemur? Pit fiend? Orthon?
Getting warmer. Warmer. Hot.
Anything else I need to know?
You have it in you to author a thrilling finale if you heed this warning. Do not underestimate this opponent. At best, you will have the blink of an eye to strike. Strike first, strike true, defy the odds, for they are distinctly in its favor. That much I owe the bastard to concede.
Wait. Before you go, I have a proposal of my own.
A proposal? If you're hoping to taste my blood, little vampling, think again. It burns hotter than wyvern whiskey.
This is serious business, devil. A long time ago, someone carved some runes into my back. I'd rather like to know what they say.
It's something of great importance to your master. But is it a love letter? A warning, or a deed of ownership? I can give you all the gory details, and I will, once the beast that lurks below is vanquished and sent back to the hells.
What are you talking about, Astarion? What scars?
You haven't told them, and you've kept your clothes on this whole time. How unlike you. Why not let them see Don't be shy.
God damn it.
Don't pout, Spawn. Just destroy the beast, and I'll happily reveal your secrets instead of your skin.
Yes, fine. We'll kill this damn creature of yours.
Then we have an understanding. I look forward to our next meeting. Scars often tell such wonderful stories. I think yours might be truly exquisite.
Well, now you know.
Gods, the carving must have been excruciating.
Cazador worked on it from dusk until dawn, all with an ancient blade he called his needle. Cutting and tearing, starting over if I screamed or winced too much. It was a rough night. But what's done is done. So how about we stop discussing it and just kill this beast? Although I should probably get dressed first. What can I do for you, my friend?
I can't believe you hid those scars from me.
You never asked me to take my shirt off. I always thought they were a sign of my humiliation. I never realized there might be more to them. But Raphael told us he can make the impossible come true. I have to try my luck.
It's strange, Cazador did this to you.
I used to just be sickened, thinking it was his sadistic pleasure. But there's more. There was method to it. The depravity of the act was a distraction. I have to get to the truth of it.
Are you really going to trust that devil to keep his word if we kill this Orthon?
I'd trust a devil over a vampire any day. I think he likes us.
I like him too, but I'd never say it to his smarmy face.
Perhaps if we kill this Orthon extra bloody, he'll invite us for tea and brandy back in his house.
I never asked. Are you Cazador's only spawn, or are there others like you?
Cazador sired 7 spawn. Me and my 6 brothers and sisters. I was one of his first. Some of the others came years later. He was a monster to us all, but did take special pleasure in my pain. He said my screams sounded sweetest. Now that I'm gone, I don't know. I pity the other 6.
In the next episode, we'll be hitting the mausoleum.
Sigils. Attempts to restrain Lady Shah's power, perhaps. Failed attempts.
But for now, in this episode, we're going to speak to our companions.
The Drow is unpredictable, uncompromising. I respect her almost as much as I distrust her.
I want to be clear. Letting Minthara tag along with us was your idea, so if you wake up with a dagger to your throat, that's on you.
Better a dagger at my throat than fangs, Astarion.
Excuse me? I would never. But fine. Take her if you wish. Just know I'll be resting with one eye open.
Minthara's something of a closed book, but I suspect a heart of gold lurks beneath that stern countenance. Once she gets to know me, I'm sure she'll open up. She's just waiting for someone ready to listen.
Speaking of opened up, I'm glad you opened up to me that night under the stars. Do you want to talk about it further?
Please. There is little more to be said on the subject. The best thing you and I can do is march on towards whatever awaits us. The end may be close. Time to reap what we have sown.
The night song sounded useful. Could it save you from the orb's detonation?
Alas, no. The charm Elminster granted me requires my death as the spark that will light the orb's fuse. Making myself invulnerable, immortal, or in any other fashion unkillable would render it useless. And gods only know what it might do to the orb itself. Still, I see no harm in learning what we can about this night song. And if we manage to find it, the harm will be all Ketheric's. So, well worth indulging our curiosity.
It doesn't seem long ago that Minthara would have sought to kill us, and now we've welcomed her along. We're nothing if not magnanimous.
What do you make of Ketheric Thorm now we've seen him in the flesh?
He's trouble. Worse, he's a traitor. Whatever loyalty he had towards Lady Shah is long gone. It would please her greatly to see him meet his long overdue end, I'll wager.
Hey, soldier.
So you had a friend in Avernus. You never said.
You saw the extent of Flo's friendship. She'll lend you a hand, long as she can crush your spirit while she's at it. I knew never to let my guard down around her. She always made me laugh, even when I least wanted to. If she'd been completely different from who she was, we might have been real friends.
She gave you a note. What did it say?
Nothing worth reading. Cambion manipulation at its most obvious.
Pity. Sounds like she meant something to you, in whatever small way.
I guess she did. Much as it makes me want to puke to admit it. Devils, you know. Fucking devils. They really screw with you, don't they?
Well met.
Any idea where we'll find Duke Ravengard now that we've reached Moonrise?
Not in a mere prison cell, certainly. My guess, Thorm will have confined him in the bowels of the tower. The deeper we dig, the closer we get.
You've talked about your father, but not your mother. Why is that?
Because there's nothing to tell. She died when I was born. As a boy, my bond with father was too deep to miss the mother I never had. Now, well, I'd be lying if I said I'd never thought about my mother. What life would have been like if she'd lived. Maybe I'd be living in the city. Maybe I'd never have been forced into this cursed pact. But there's no use lingering on maybes. My mind is on the stories of today and tomorrow, not those of yesterday.
Oakfather preserve you.
I met a peer of yours, the druid Jaheira. Do you know her?
Only by reputation. She was present when we marched against Ketheric Thorm, but on the far end of the battle lines from where I fought. And in the chaos that ensued, well, our forces were scattered. I led some to safety, but never learned of her fate. I'm glad to hear she survived. Though in truth, I should not be surprised. She was always said to be formidable and cunning. I could have learned much from her, no doubt.
You're an archdruid. What could you possibly have left to learn from anyone?
No matter how long I live, I will always strive to remain a keen pupil. Only a fool would think he could drink in all knowledge until none is left. There is always more. Nature's tapestry is infinitely complex. I cannot help but wonder how she would have handled some of the challenges I faced as Archdruid. Defended the Grove, Korga, the Shadow Druids. At least now we can benefit from her presence, and perhaps work to a common goal.
You spent all these years fighting the Shadow Curse. What happens once it's lifted?
Honestly, I never thought I'd make it that far. But the Absolute is a threat to all, and I promised I'd help you with your parasite. So, I'll remain with you. If you'll have me, that is.
You'll make a decent workhorse. This camp doesn't haul itself around each day.
I'll help however you wish.
How am I holding up in your estimations?
I've been unfair to you. I've had unrealistic expectations of your character ever since I joined you. But honestly, you've surpassed even those. Seems my faith was more than well-founded.
I feel like I haven't gotten to know you properly yet.
It's true, and I can't imagine I helped with that. Sometimes I let the task at hand consume me, and people think I'm obsessed. Trust me, the day I no longer have to talk about the Shadow Curse will be a happy one. What would you like to know?
Don't take this the wrong way, but you're quite large for an elf.
I am? Trust me, it's been said. You show more restraint than most in avoiding the subject until now.
Any idea how that came about?
Who's to say? Perhaps there's a half-orc buried somewhere in my ancestry. Or perhaps not. Sometimes I think conventional wisdom is too narrow about what someone can or cannot be. Stranger things have most certainly happened.
How did you come to be a druid?
I had a friend when I was young, long ago. He played with me in the forests where I grew up. But eventually, I realized no one else had heard of him. It was Thaniel, of course. Nature was my very first friend. I get older, but he hasn't changed a day. I knew then that I had to be more than a companion to him. I had to be a protector.
Do you have people out there somewhere? Family, friends, a lover perhaps?
You're not a doppelganger, are you? Trying to study me to learn all my secrets so you can take my place? Save for me, my line perished a long time ago. They rest in high forest now, near the shade of the grandfather tree. The grove became my family, with Sylvanus as my teacher. And now I have you.
You have me. Let's not get carried away. Circumstance brought us together.
The same's true of everyone, I find.
You didn't answer the part about lovers.
I'm 350 years old. Of course there have been lovers. Just because I love nature doesn't mean I'm betrothed to it. Though sometimes, nature needs reminding.
Hold on. Nature needs reminding of what, exactly?
Well, I didn't pick this scar up in battle. I was in wild shape, only I forgot it was the season when bears are particularly social. A she-bear claimed me as her own and did not appreciate being spurned.
Tell me something about yourself that I wouldn't even think to ask.
I suppose you wouldn't be shocked to learn I love animals and nature? I know, well-trodden territory. Well then, let's see. I whittle in my spare time, and I've something of a sweet tooth. Although everyone's very amused when I say I like honey.
Whittling, what do you make?
Ornaments, utensils, and ducks. I like ducks.
So you turn into a bear and you like honey, a little on the nose.
I like what I like. Once you get to my age, you realize there's little point in denying yourself, so long as others aren't affected.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank me by returning the favor, why don't you? Come on. I'm sure you've something better than carving wooden ducks.
I live in mortal fear of krakens, though I've never actually seen one.
Well, they are fierce creatures from what I understand, but as long as you avoid the high seas, I think you can consider yourself safe.
That's enough for now.
Anytime.
What happened before when the Shadow Curse was unleashed?
Druids and Harpers joined together to put a stop to Ketheric Thorm. We marched on Moonrise, and after much fighting, we prevailed. Even in defeat, though, Ketheric turned to Shah. Not long after we sealed him away in his tomb, the Shadow Curse took hold. No one had seen the likes of it before. No one knew how to react. Then it started to claim all those within its reach. Those who had survived the battles now fell to the shadows, became part of the shadows. And worst of all, I lost contact with Thaniel. I wanted to try and find him, but we couldn't stay. We would have all succumbed. When the Archdruid of the Grove, my predecessor, was seized by the curse. I had to lead the survivors to safety. That was my first day as Archdruid. An inauspicious beginning.
Not every day as a leader can be a glorious one.
Indeed. I know that all too well.
You wish to consult me?
Do you remember all that you did in the Absolute's name?
I was the Absolute's dagger. I remember every throat that it held me to, and every drop of blood it forced me to spill. I take no responsibility for the lives I took. I did nothing in the Absolute's name. I was merely a weapon that it wielded.
To lose your free will and be forced to kill, that must have been horrible.
I would rather die than endure it again. The tadpole, the Absolute, they work together like a drug. I did not feel I was compelled to act against my will. I felt ecstatic to serve. Every action seemed a deliberate choice, the best choice, even though I could no more have resisted its commands than flesh can resist decay. Even rational minds like ours cannot reject such a powerful influence. The Absolute can make the impossible seem inevitable.
Is Ketheric truly invulnerable?
I fought at his side once, shortly after my conversion. Before the battle, he was everything a general should be. A charismatic leader with a brilliant strategic mind. And when the fighting began, he led his troops from the front and cut through the enemy like a scythe through stalks. Blows and arrows rained down on him, and before long, his face was a mask of blood. But he did not fall. He did not even falter. When we won the day, Ketheric's armor was bent and shattered, but his flesh was unmarked.
We just need to hit him harder than they did.
No, we need to hit him smarter. This battle, like most, will be won or lost before the fighting begins. There is a connection to this night song of Balthazar's, whatever or whoever it might be. We must find it and destroy it.
You're a fellow paladin. What's the nature of your oath?
I took up my oath long ago, when I swore bloody vengeance against any who defied Lolth. Now, I myself have sinned against the Spider Queen. Though my faith is shattered, my oath endures. I am sworn to destroy all those who serve the Absolute.
Your crusade against the Absolute is nothing more than a convenient excuse for bloodshed.
Do you think me a fool? If it were blood I wanted, I would choose easier victims rather than challenging gods and cosmic aberrations. Abandon your preconceptions of who I am and why I act. And know this: my fight against the cult is righteous. We are all that stands between this world and annihilation. What of your oath, Paladin? Are you true to it?
Sometimes I think it holds me back from my true potential.
Then break it. We are threatened by murderous gods and otherworldly entities that despise our very existence. When you made your oath, you could not have predicted this dark path we now follow, or the things that would be asked of you. You cannot allow yourself to be held back by an ideal.
And with Minthara, we're going to ask her about our companions after we completed this next section, because her dialogue makes it seem as if we've already done it, and I don't want to spoil anything for you. Thank you very much for watching Tran Wins Baldur's Gate 3. I'll see you next time.
And I will, once the beast that lurks below is vanquished and sent back to the hells.
What do you think, Astarion?
What's not to like? We kill some horrible beastie, and I get what I want in return. Everyone's happy. Except the beastie.
We're not doing your dirty work, Raphael.
Let's not be so hasty. We might enjoy doing the devil's dirty work. And it's all for a good cause. Me.
Listen to your friend. What I'm asking isn't unreasonable. When you meet the beast, you'll realize that killing it is the wisest course. And once the deed is done, our next meeting will be most productive, Astarion.
Well, now you know.
Why didn't you tell me earlier?
Perhaps I should have. But I'm not used to asking for help and being met with, well, help.
All I know is you have us doing odd jobs for a devil.
It could be infinitely worse. We seem rather good at killing things. Let's just go. Standing here chatting gets us nowhere.